Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. A new poll on marriage has revealed that 1 in 3 voters believes David Cameron has undermined Christianity in Britain. According to the poll, which was commissioned by the Christian Institute, fewer than 1 in 5 believes that Mr Cameron has improved religious freedom in Britain. And 4 in 10 agree that the Church of England will be forced to conduct same-sex marriages irrespective of ministers' views. Colin Hart, director of the Christian Institute, said that Christians had been marginalised and the poll should act as a wake-up call to Mr Cameron. The survey also revealed that 50% of voters think that marriage should be defined as a commitment between a man and a woman. A former judge who spoke out in favour of marriage has criticised an official reprimand he received as unfair and silly. Sir Paul Coleridge set up the Marriage Foundation 2 years ago and said couples should mend, not end, their relationships. Last year, an investigation ruled that his comments had amounted to judicial misconduct, despite only 10 people complaining. Sir Paul told the Sunday Times this week why he was upset about his treatment. "I was depressed, annoyed, mystified, exasperated. I was depressed that the judiciary was so prepared to cave into the slightest criticism from the public, unjustified criticism in fact." Sir Paul officially took early retirement last month, partly over the lack of support he received for his pro-marriage beliefs. Critics have described a new parenting law that plans to criminalise emotional neglect as ambiguous, saying it's capable of labelling innocent parents as abusers. The so-called Cinderella law, which is set to be mentioned in the Queen's speech on June the 4th, would carry a maximum prison sentence of 10 years. Sociologist Professor Frank Furedi, who is against the proposed legislation, explained his stance in The Independent. Campaigners devoted to the criminalisation of emotional abuse have deliberately defined it in an amorphous and expansive manner. For example, the NSPCC includes in its definition of emotional abuse the making of fun of what a child says or how they communicate. Where does good-natured banter end and destructive verbal joking begin? Whatever the answer is to this question, it will not be found in the law courts. According to a newspaper investigation, Scottish pharmacies received £19 million in 2012 to distribute the drug Methadone. The money was spent on a controversial scheme aimed at combating heroin addiction, which many argue does little to solve the problem. Large chemist chains received the most money, with Boots getting close to £4 million and Lloyd's Pharmacy receiving £3.6 million. MSP and Tory health spokesman Jackson Carlaw described the amount spent on the methadone programme as extremely concerning. Instead of efforts being made to get people off drugs completely, too many are being parked on the drug for years. This is of no benefit to the individual and comes at a greater cost to the taxpayer. According to Community Pharmacies Scotland, who represent chemists across the region, pharmacies distributing methadone are paid based on negotiations with their health boards. A newspaper journalist has praised 19-year-old Stephen Sutton for his attitude to life and said it shames the celebrities who back euthanasia. Rosa Monckton said that Stephen, who died last week from bowel cancer, achieved something beautiful by reminding us to celebrate each waking hour. She criticised TV personalities such as Cilla Black, who said she didn't want to live past 75. There is an insidious pressure not to keep people alive if they are elderly or very ill. And people like Cilla Black are simply adding to that atmosphere, encouraging people towards annihilation. We all waste so much time complaining about trivial things going wrong in our lives, yet we are in better health and longer lived than at any time in human history. Stephen received international attention after he raised over £3 million for charity and began celebrating his last days with an ambitious bucket list.
I don't actually do what I do for recognition. I love nice comments, but I do what I do because I find the best way to help myself is to help others, you know. I'm proud of the feeling I get just by raising all this money.
Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.